Workout of the day. Today's workout of the day is 3 rounds, and we're descending the rep scheme across those 3 rounds. As always, we have different versions for no equipment, limited equipment, and full equipment. So let's first talk about the no equipment version of the workout. We're going to start with 42 jumping squats to a 6-inch touch. We're then going to move into 30 single leg glute bridges. You will do 15 on one side, then 15 on the other. And we're then going to finish the first round with 18 bodyweight rows. Now this is the part where I said in the intro that you need to be really creative with. I'm going to give you a few ideas, but you need to get those creative juices flowing in order to do that. So that's round 1. Then in round 2, we're going to go 30, 20, 10. And then in the final round, we're going to go 18, 12, 6. So that is the no equipment version. For the limited equipment version, we're going to follow that same rep scheme, but we're going to do wall balls if you have wall balls, 20 pound and 14 pound to a 10 and 9 foot target for the guys and girls. We're then going to do a single leg deadlift with odd objects. So whether you've got a kettlebell or a dumbbell or a sandbag or some kind of weight, you're going to do again half on one leg followed by half on the other leg. And then we're going to finish with the body weight pull-up, or if you're unable to do the pull-up, then we can go down to that body weight row. So that's our limited version option. Then for our full version option, we're going to go wall balls, same rep scheme. We're then going to go deadlifts, 100 kilos for the guys, 70 kilos for the ladies, 21, 15 and 9. And then we're going to finish with ring muscle ups, 9, 7 and 5. They are our 3 versions of the workout today. Please look on Beyond the Whiteboard for a full detailed description and the scaling options. Let's now have a look at all of the movements and our scaling options. Movement 1. Movement 1 for no equipment is a squat jump to a 6-inch touch. So how that will work, first of all, you need to find something that is about 6 inches above your reach, or you can use a mark on the wall and jump beside a wall or something like that. If you literally have nothing to jump to, then you're going to guesstimate 6-inch jump. All right, so with this, our squatting pattern remains exactly the same as a normal squat. Feet shoulder width apart, hip crease comes below the knee. Then from there, we jump up to a 6-inch reach. So let's look at it from the side. Hip crease comes down below the knee, jump up, 6-inch touch. That is our jump squat. Let's now have a look at if we've got full equipment. Wall ball. With a wall ball, we keep the ball up nice and tall. We measure out a target, 10-foot target for the guys, 9-foot target for the ladies. Keeping the ball up nice and tall, hip crease comes below the knee, throw the ball up to our target. Same squatting pattern applies, hip crease below the knee, keep the feet flat on the ground, knees out. That is movement number 1. Movement number 2. Movement number 2 is all about the hamstrings and glutes. What we're going to do is show you the no equipment version first. No equipment version is a single leg glute bridge. Please note, this movement is not for time. This movement is nice and controlled and really focusing on activating through the glutes to drive our hips up. So with a single leg glute bridge, we lay down on our back, we bring our feet in so our knees are at about 90 degrees. From there, we're going to bring one leg up so our thighs are parallel with each other, and that's how they remain throughout the movement. Then from there, we're going to drive our weight through our heel that's still on the ground, squeeze our glute, extend, pause, down. That's 1. Up, pause, 2. Up, pause, 3. You're going to do half of all the reps on one side before swapping over, half of all the reps on the opposite side. That is our single leg glute bridge if you literally have no equipment at all. If you do have some equipment, or you've made some makeshift equipment, then we're going to do a single leg deadlift. Let's have a look at that. I'm going to show you with a dumbbell first of all. So what we're looking for in the single leg deadlift is we hinge over at the hips and we keep balance with the other leg and use that as a pendulum. So, standing beside your object, we're going to hinge over at the hips, grab a hold of the object, squeeze the glutes and quads to stand up tall. Again, we hinge over, lean forward, nice flat back, touch the ground, and then back up. Now this will take a little bit of balance, so make sure in the warm-up that you get those balance muscles working. Again, you'll do half on one side, followed by half on the other side. You can use things like a kettlebell, you could use the straps of a backpack or an esky, or whatever you have available to you to do the single leg deadlift. The final movement for our full equipment is a regular deadlift. Now the weight is 100 kilos for the guys, 70 kilos for the ladies. I need it. It must be a weight you believe you could do 21 reps unbroken without stopping. So you can scale the weight down in order to achieve that. With the deadlift, we send the hips back, hinge over at the hips, we set with our shoulders forward of the bar. From there, we brace into our belly, we push down through the heels and stand up tall at the top. Notice how my knees are locked back and my shoulders finish behind the bar. On the way back down, we send those hips back, touch the ground, squeeze the glutes to stand up. Movement number three. Movement number three for our no equipment version is a body weight row. Now you're going to have to be a little bit creative with this movement. I'm going to show you a few different implements that I can just use here around the gym that we don't normally use for any kind of pulling movement. But you need to be creative. Just remember that whatever you are using to do this pulling movement or this row from, it needs to be something you are 100% confident in its sturdiness. All right, so let's have a look at option number one. All right, so for option number one, I'm going to use a low bar. Now, obviously, I've got access to a rig here, but it isn't what we normally use for a pulling action. This could be anything like the edge of a table. This could be the edge of a high chair, something that is really sturdy that you're able to grip a hold of and then pull your body weight underneath it. So we're going to come down underneath the implement that we're using. We're going to have a slight bend at the knees. We're going to then lift our hips up off the floor and we're going to pull up till our chest touches into the implement. To make this easier, you can bend through the knees, and then obviously the more you bend through your knees and you can use your legs to assist you, the easier this movement's going to be. Something we all have at home is a door jam. So with a door jam, how we're going to use it is, again, similar to a ring row. We're going to lean back on an angle, place your hands on the inside of the door jam, bend through the knees, we're going to pull up and then lower back down. Again, the further you go down, the more difficult the movement is. Just make sure it is something you can grip onto really well. Right, the next implement I'm going to show you is a bull bar. So what I'm showing you is it doesn't necessarily be an implement that we have to be directly under. We can adjust using things that you have at home. Obviously, if you are using a car, make sure that the handbrake is on and it is in park. So from here, I'm going to have my feet planted into the floor. I'm going to keep my knees bent at that same angle. Obviously, you can use your legs a little bit if this is too difficult. From there, we lift our hips up off the floor and we pull up and then lower back down so the arms are straight. That is a bodyweight row using a bull bar. The limited equipment option is a strict pull-up, or it is also the scaling option for our muscle-ups. If you don't have rings, then we're going to do a strict pull-up. Arms on the outside of the shoulders with straight arms, feet off the ground, keeping a tight body position. We pull all the way up. The chin must clearly pass the bar and lock the elbows out between each rep. If you're unable to do strict pull-ups with your own body weight and you do have access to bands, then we can use bands in order to assist us. If you have rings and are able to do ring muscle-ups, then we're going to do ring muscle-ups. If you have a bar and you can't do ring muscle-ups but can do bar muscle-ups, then you can do bar muscle-ups. They are our options for our full equipment version.